basically to sort of capture as much as you can from these three guys. I suppose to start with, I'd just like to thank you all, because I've been really inspired anyway, through really different experiences. You're all quite young, but you've done a real range of different things in your career and come to this point through different, very different kind of journeys, I suppose. Some of the things, there are commonalities between you. I mean, the word luck came up a few times, and a sense of being at the right time, at the right place. But of course, it isn't just luck, is it? Because you all kind of reacted to things. So whether it was you, Dan, writing your blog and the company being interested in what you were writing about, you were ready to go and talk about it, and you know, all the kind of networking that you've done and the opportunities that you've both used every time they've come your way. The other thing that comes through is how passionate you all are about your particular areas, or about lots of things actually, not just one thing. You're all really passionate about a range of things, and I think that's really inspiring for the students to not be too kind of narrow in the way you think about your career, but actually, I think Dan said it, read about everything, you know, read around all the time. And you talked about going out of your comfort zone, not just meeting creative industries people, but all sorts of others, and you've done that for yourself also, Justice. The final point that I'd like to make is also about the things that you've tried, lots of different things, and they haven't always gone right, or not exactly according to plan, but it doesn't seem to matter to any of you. So, you know, you tried your sort of, when you were at university, the travel website, and you've all got examples of things that you've tried, and then when you look back, they really seem like just another point along the journey that move you on to the next step, and then to the next step, and to the next step. So I think there's a lesson to be learnt there as well, about not thinking in terms of the ultimate project. Of course you think like that at the time probably, but things will come from that.
I was at a conference actually once, and this is a couple of years back, maybe 3 years now, and it was about the sort of the differences between Silicon Valley in terms of the web and the UK, and why we have the Googles and the Microsofts over there, and you know, obviously there's lots of sort of structural differences, but one guy said something I thought really stuck with me, which was that in America people wear failed enterprise as a badge of honour, whereas here I think failed business person can sometimes be something to shun, and I think it's really important that people are willing to fail and like try something and it not work and try something else and then keep going, because if you don't do that, then I think you're going to either be the 1 in a million person who the first thing they does turns to gold, or you're going to stop and maybe do something that's less interesting.
So can I follow on from that then?
Yeah.
You've almost quoted COVID from the big debate last week. So, for the three of you, the $1 million question, can the Midlands creative industries revolutionise the UK economy?
Yes, I was there. It's kind of like the debate that we had on our table at that actual conference, and I think it can. I mean, a lot of the things that was spoken was about why would anybody want to move to the West Midlands, especially as well when you can just do a lot of business online and things like that. And I said it's not actually about moving to the West Midlands, it's about bringing the economy to the West Midlands and also tapping into what we have here. I've been approached, from my start in my magazine I was approached to move. Fashion TV approached me to do it in London. I've been approached by people in Atlanta, in the Caribbean. But like Ruth said, I always wanted to do this in Birmingham, and I think there's something unique about our city because we're quite small compared to places like London, and also as well, we've considered nationally a bit behind compared to places like London. I think it's an absolutely brilliant market. I think what's the point in being a small fish in a big pond in London when I could be a big fish in a small pond in Birmingham, and then, you know, everybody knows me in Birmingham, means that when I go to London, now they're starting to hear about who's hot in Birmingham, and it helps them to bridge that gap. And I think we, as citizens of the city and West Midlands, have a responsibility to build our own economy rather than blaming it on the Prime Minister or the Chancellor of the Exchequer, and that we can all bring, you know, create economic wealth creation for our city. So I think definitely yes. I think it's going to happen overnight. I think that there's a lot of other factors involved, and I don't think the West Midlands alone can help revolutionise the UK economy, but I think it can play a major part in it.
Thank you. Ruth?
Yeah, I mean, I love Birmingham and the West Midlands, and I'm going to be here for the rest of my life probably. Unless I suddenly make $1 million and go off somewhere, but who knows. But I don't think the West Midlands alone is going to revolutionise the UK economy. I don't think, you know, one region is going to do that. I think that's unrealistic. What excites me is that, you know, we have got something different here, I think, but then, you know, I've never worked in the southeast, I've never worked up in Manchester and Leeds, and, you know, I think actually the opportunity is for these networks to build across the UK. So, you know, London will always be the powerhouse. I don't think you can ever think that it won't be. But, you know, what I'm interested in when I say I want to work outside the West Midlands, it's not necessarily that I want to work in London. I want to try and build networks with other creative communities, say Bristol, Manchester, Leeds, and I think that's our opportunity, is to make those connections. And what online can do for us is, you know, as we've kind of alluded to in business relationships, I think it can help to speed up those networks too. I don't think it's realistic to think that West Midlands is going to revolutionise the UK economy. I think we have a huge role to play. I wrote a blog post about it, and my argument was that small business can, I believe small business, you know, will help to revolutionise the UK economy. That entrepreneurial spirit, I think, is really, really important, because entrepreneurs flourish when times are hard, and you kind of have to pick yourself up and get on with it. Certainly, I don't know what you guys think, but being an entrepreneur during recession has been really, really tough. And you know, I hope that for anyone else starting a business, that going through a really difficult time means that hopefully when things do pick up, you know, we'll be in a good place to make the most of that, whatever we're doing. But yeah, I don't think it's down to the West Midlands. I think it's down to entrepreneurs and, you know, creative industries and small businesses across the UK to kind of help, hopefully give a bit of a kickstart to the economy.
Dan, anything to add?
I grew up in Birmingham, but sadly I went to University of Manchester and then I now live in London. I think that there's some real advantages to being in London, just the scope, the size of it, and the access to sort of, you know, business and stuff like that. That said, you know, I always thought to myself that I would do something in Birmingham again, because I have a real sort of like you know, emotional connection to the city, and I love to keep up to date quite passively. I'm not really active with what's going on in Birmingham. I read a lot about the city still, and I think there's some, you know, fantastic opportunities that seem to present themselves. I think also that, I mean, as these guys have said, you know, the technological sort of developments that allow people to keep in touch are ever increasing, and particularly if you're working online, you know, your market isn't just Birmingham. You know, your market's the entire country, and if not, you know, parts of Europe and America and what have you. So I think, and to go back to the sort of comparison between sort of Silicon Valley and the rest of like of Europe or the UK, I think, you know, it would be dangerous to, you know, to try and make too many comparisons to London and Birmingham, because you're just inevitably going to get yourself into this sort of quagmire of like, oh, there's loads of opportunity here and you're not going to be able to get that in Birmingham. What's the point in bothering? I think you need to use what your city has and work to its advantage.
Thank you.
We've got Simona up there saying, if you don't, quoting Justice, saying, if you don't try, you don't get. What drives you though? You know, what keeps driving you, all three of you? You know, in different ways. I mean, you're more classic entrepreneurs because you're self-employed. Obviously, you're employed, Dan, but you know, you still have an entrepreneurial spirit, and you certainly set up a business when you were a student. What do you think, with all of what drives you? What makes you so passionate?
For me, I think creating real change is one of the things that drives me. And the other thing is my freedom, that I can do what I like, that I haven't got the constraints of a job or a job description or bosses and things like that. And it means that I can also do all the things that I'm passionate about, that I enjoy, but do it for business. And that's basically what kind of drives me, gets me out of the bed in the morning. It's different if I had to get up and go to work in a bank and I'm like, oh, targets again, whatever. But it's like, oh, got to go studio today. Oh, we've got a photo shoot. Oh, I'm going to go meet, you know, Beyonce or whatever it is. You know, there's always something exciting going on. You know, I haven't met her yet, but I'm working on that one.